What is up, everybody? We are here with video game extraordinaire, referee extraordinaire. You can catch her Tuesday nights on AEW Dark, Wednesday nights, but this week it's Saturday, AEW Dynamite, and anywhere you can catch your podcast on AEW Unrestricted. Chris Jericho's most disliked referee in the ring, but favorite referee outside the ring. We are here with Aubrey Edwards. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for the wonderful introduction.
That's the first time I got that, so yes, I'm happy now.
Yeah. No, it was good.
How
You covered
is,
everything, especially that Dynamite is this Saturday. Good job pointing that one out.
We hope the NBA game ends early. We'll see what happens, but
We'll see.
How's everything doing? How are you doing today, and how's the weekend going?
Good. It's unreasonably hot in Seattle this time of year. It's like 95, which in most places is like kind of like, yeah, whatever for summer, but most of the places here don't have air conditioning. So we're all kind of slowly dying. But yeah, it's been generally a pretty relaxing weekend. Lots of time in the gym. Made some tacos last night that were pretty legit. So yeah, just hanging out.
Mr. Alvarez was upset about the weather up there on Observer Radio today. So
yeah, there's you kind of hit that point where it's a little too hot. Like low 80s, we start to do good, but once you hit above 90s, you basically have every single Seattleite complaining about the weather.
All right, we're gonna hop right into this. First up, we have Jordan. Jordan, what's up, brother?
Hey, cool. Not much. How's it going over there? I guess I don't know.
Good. How are you, Jordan?
I'm doing all right. It's been a relaxing day off of my second job, so enjoying that. So first off, enjoy listening to the podcast. By the way,
Thank you.
it's good. It's fun to listen to while I'm at work. My second question is, so I know on Jericho, you mentioned you were playing Skyward Sword. Have you moved on from that? The
I was
Zelda
playing
game.
Breath
You're
of the
playing the
Wild.
Zelda game on the
Skyward
Switch.
Sword's pretty old. Because Skyward Sword
yeah.
was the end of
That was the
Wii's
Wii.
life cycle. Yeah.
That was the Wii one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was playing Breath of the Wild. I played through
That's-
it all the way through when it first came out, and I was playing a second run through where I was trying to beat all of the shrines before I did any of the beasts. So it's an interesting way to go about it. And then Animal Crossing came out, and I kind of dropped that. So right now I'm playing
Sounds
a lot
good.
of Paper Mario.
Awesome. All right. Thanks.
Thank you.
With the first question being about video games, obviously you get this asked every day. What's the update on the AEW game, if there's any?
I'm going to give you the same answer I give every day. I'm not talking about that. So if anybody has any video game questions, I'm not answering anything.
Oh, I hope Dylan doesn't have one. Dylan, what is up?
Not much. How are you doing? How are you doing, Aubrey?
Hey, how are you, Dylan?
Pretty good. Pretty good. I just actually said boo to about you not being able to talk about the AEW game, but I am excited for that game to come out eventually. Quick question. So Double or Nothing, whose idea was it for the spot where Jericho challenged the play when you did the 3 count, and then when he said it was a 3 and he said it was a 2, and then he challenged it? Whose idea was that?
I think it was a combination of Tony Khan's and Jericho's, because Tony Khan owns the Jaguars, right? And
Right.
knows that the challenge flag would be an interesting spot, but Jericho doesn't actually follow football and didn't know like the rules about how a challenge flag works. So I had found myself at like 11 p.m. at night explaining the rules of American football to a Canadian, and the whole purpose of a challenge flag and why it's important and timeouts and all that kind of stuff. So the funny thing with that is he throws down the challenge flag, and I'm like, okay, so we set up like a replay tent. We get the actual replay tent that the Jaguars have. And I walk into it and he follows me. And then on my radio, TK's like, no, he can't go in there. He's not allowed. That's not how that works. And Jericho's like, but I want to go in there and challenge it. It's like, no, that's the ref goes in there and then the ref comes out. Like the players don't go in there. And Jericho and I are just looking at each other like, he knows this is wrestling, right? Like we're going to do whatever we want. So then
Right.
Jericho came in, and the resolution there was like, TK was cool with it as long as we argued through the entirety of the replay. So it was kind of a joint effort. I think all of us kind of had like a little bit to do with it, just to kind of make it feel like, to take the elements of what a challenge flag in the NFL looks like, but give it that AEW twist.
See, that is so awesome. I don't watch football myself much either, but watch like that whole match was so awesome. Like that one particular spot was my favorite part of the match.
That was my longest day in wrestling I've ever had.
But I love the chemistry you guys have, and it's awesome seeing you on Dynamite every week. And I love the podcast, by the way. I need to catch up on it. I've been working from home, but
thank you for listening. We've got some cool people in the podcast studio this week, so it'll be good.
Who's next week?
Tomorrow or Tuesday, we're recording with Eddie Kingston and Ricky Starks. Okay. So those will be coming out over the next few weeks.
Nice. Okay. Well, thank you for taking the time to answer my question, Aubrey, and thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Dylan.
Bye-bye. Aubrey, did Jericho give you anything about the Canadian Football League?
No, we didn't talk about it much. I mean, he's really more of a hockey guy.
The Canadian Football League's awful, so don't worry about it too much.
That's okay. That's all I've heard.
We're gonna go over to Dennis. Dennis, how are you, buddy?
I am
Dennis.
well. I'm actually.
Your audio cut out a little bit.
Yes, sir.
There we go.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Sorry. Gotcha. It's kind of funny that you're talking about podcast because I'm actually working on finishing up episode 2 of a podcast I just launched.
Nice. Congratulations.
But my question is, thank you very much. It's called What Do You Say with DD? Sorry, I get plugged, Jake. But my question for you is what is the craziest thing you've done? What would you say is the craziest thing?
You cut out a little bit, so I just want to make sure I got the question right. What's the craziest thing I've done in wrestling?
The craziest in AEW.
Oh, craziest thing in AEW. I mean, I got to ref on a cruise ship. That was kind of insane. No one kind of expects that. I think that's probably the craziest. I like that and Stadium Stampede are probably the 2 craziest things, just because it's like you never expect to enter wrestling and go, you know what? I'm going to ref a match with a wrestling ring in the middle of a stadium that's not filled with fans.
Yeah. I don't think anybody expected all the things that happened this year. So,
nope, we made the most of it.
And that, yes, you guys are doing a great job. So keep up the good work.
Thank you so much, Dennis. I appreciate you saying that.
Thanks, Dennis. We will hop over to Hunter. Hunter, what's up, Hunter?
Ref Hunter Rayner. Where do you ref?
I ref at Ring Wars Carolina over here in North Carolina.
Nice.
I was wondering about some tips that some referees don't know, that they're not told a lot, that you might have.
Anything in particular, like on the indies or like with TV or?
We have a minor TV deal.
Okay.
North Carolina, so we have TV and everything.
Do you get time cues?
Yeah.
Okay.
So earpiece I put in my ear and then.
Sweet. Do you have commercials?
Yes.
Okay. So the biggest thing I would say with respect to television wrestling is making sure that you're making most of the time that you have. So if a match ends and you've only got enough time for, say, a post-match segment, make sure that you're communicating to your talent. Like I say the word beauty shot, and they know that they have to go up to like a ring post and pose so that the main camera can get something. Or really communicate when replays are happening so that they don't just stand there in the ring looking awkwardly as they're not actually being shown on television. They've got the time to actually get to the position they want, but when they come out of replays, they need to know immediately so they can hit whatever pose they need to. I think that's really the big one. And also just from a television viewer's perspective, when there's fans, I would say the biggest thing is you're on the moment you walk through the curtain. So it's not just when you're in the ring and when the match starts, but the moment you walk through the curtain, walking to the ring, getting in the ring, you're there before the match starts, during entrances, you don't know who's looking at you at any given moment. So you always have to have that air of professionalism. Right. It's not until you walk back through the curtain and all of the other talent has walked through that you're off the job,
Right. Thank you.
Yeah.
And another thing, I'm going to be on the Jericho cruise next year, so that ends up happening. So,
oh yeah, hopefully. I mean, we're all a little upset that I think it got pushed back to 2021.
Yeah, I think it's Halloween.
Yeah, which will be good and awesome because the weather starts to turn everywhere else and we'll be in a tropical place. So
right.
I'm excited.
If you guys need a dark match ref, I mean, I'm on.
A little bit of a hiring freeze right now. Sorry.
All right.
Thanks, Hunter.
Put it out there. All right. Thank you.
Thank
Have
you.
a good one. We will there he is. We will hop over to Sarah. Hello, Sarah.
Hi,
Hi,
Sarah.
Aubrey. First off, those tacos look amazing last night.
Didn't they? Oh my God, they were so good.
So I love listening to you guys on the podcast. It's the first one I listen to every chance I get. I want to know who your favorite guest is and who your fantasy booking is for that podcast.
Ooh, my favorite guest we ever had was Billy Gunn. It was one of the earlier ones. I think it was like week 3, 4, 5 around there. But the entirety of that podcast, we were just laughing the whole time because Billy Gunn is definitely one of those guys that like he just pokes fun at people, and that's like how he shows affection. So you're both like being mean to each other in like a fun spirited way, and all these stories. And then on top of that, like his personality just came through in a great way. He was clearly happy about working at AEW, and all of that was just, all of that was just like very, very evident. So I think that podcast had the best feel to it from kind of all of us at the table.
Yeah, lots of good chemistry.
Fantasy booking, I definitely want to get. Who do I want? I want to get FTR. I recently did a match with them for the first time, and I previously hated tag team wrestling. I've only gotten like really good at it in the last year or so. Part of that is working with AEW. Part of that is like having a better understanding of tag team psychology. But those guys really understand tag team wrestling, and I definitely want to have a podcast with them and pick their brain.
Absolutely. I bet they have some good stories.
Oh, I bet they do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah. Aubrey, 2 questions. One is well, one's kind of hard, but is there any, like, your rise to, I'll say the top, but obviously to a national television network was pretty quick. Is there ever
Very
a
quick.
moment where you just like sit back and are awestruck about that?
Every day. I mean, especially now in the current world, like I'm very, very fortunate to even like 1, have a job right now that pays me well. And 2, I have a job in wrestling where I'm actively reffing on a regular basis, which is not something a lot of referees can even say they're doing right now. So for that, I'm really fortunate, and I think about that every day because that's something I'm very privileged to have. It's also just kind of wild that like I get to do this, and like I have that weird that like, oh my God, this is my life moment that happens like every time I'm down there. Like Ricky Morton came up to me at the last show. He was like, "Hey girl, how you doing?" And he's like talking to me like we're like longtime friends, and I'm like, who the hell am I, right? Like this is insane. Or like having like Medusa tell me like, "Hey, oh my God, I'm a real big fan of your work." I'm like, are you serious? Like, you know who you are, right? Or like even just Kyoto, like hanging out with him and hearing stories from his side about shit that I did at WWE when I was there for the little bit that I was. Like, it's just very, very interesting, and it blows my mind every time. It's still very new, and I hope it never stops feeling like that.
What is one moment that has been a mark out moment, like in the ring, from a wrestling fan perspective for you?
Mark out moment from a fan perspective. Let me think. I mean, probably the first one was, the big one was the title match at All Out last year between Hangman and Jericho. There was specifically a moment before we went out to the ring where I'm talking with Hangman, we're talking about the match and stuff, and I'm like, "Hey, bro, like, I know this might be unprofessional, and sorry to be a mark for a second, but how wild is this, right?" He goes, "Dude, I know, it's Chris Jericho." I'm like, "Okay, cool. So it's not weird." And it's just funny because like even people that are like in the main event at major pay-per-views are still like marking out in a way, right? Because we're all sort of realizing we're in this situation of like, dude, this is really happening. We're like sold out in the Sears Center in Chicago, and Chris Jericho's in the ring, and this is just like work now. Like, what the hell?
All right, we'll hop over to Adante. How you doing, buddy?
Oh wow! Oh snap!
Hey.
Hi. Oh wow! How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm all right. I just got a real quick. Sorry, I'm marking out. Sorry.
All good, brother. We're all fans.
I got a real quick question. So I came across on the WWE network that you were at Daniel Bryan's retirement speech.
Oh yeah, I'm the crying girl.
Yeah. So as a fan from that point, like, one, were you reffing yet? or
No,
no? You wasn't reffing yet.
no, not at all. That was I think that was like what 2016, 2015.
Yeah.
I don't remember. Yeah, I didn't start reffing until July of 2017. So I
Wow.
was purely a fan. Like people are like, "Oh, you got comp those tickets." I'm like, I didn't know anybody. I paid for those. I paid way too much money for those tickets.
Wow. So you weren't in PWG yet or anything?
No, none of that. I had never even had any idea that I was ever going to be in a ring. I was still like dancing ballet at that time.
Oh wow. So like it was really emotional?
It was like a pure markout moment, man. Like Daniel Bryan was my favorite wrestler. I'm in Seattle, which is where like he hails from. He hails from Aberdeen, which is about like, I don't know, like an hour and a half south of here. But so Seattle's like the major city near where he's from. And he had announced that morning that he was basically making a big announcement about his retirement. So all of us were like, wait, what? What's going on? And it was at the end of the show. And it was this like really awesome, just like emotional moment that I don't think you can truly capture in like a bottle at all, because my introduction to wrestling was watching the rise of Daniel Bryan, like back when he basically wasn't getting the bookings he was, and then the SummerSlam thing, and Randy Orton taking the belt right after he won the title, and all WrestleMania 30 and all of that. So like that was when I first became a fan, was watching that. So this was like a big door closing on like my intro to wrestling. So yeah, it was a big deal.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you're doing a good job. Me and my girlfriend are huge fans, and
Thank you.
so thank you, Jacob. I appreciate it. That's my boy, Jacob. That's my boy.
Yeah, Jacob's cool.
So thank
Yeah,
y'all.
Dante.
Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks, buddy. Have a good night. We'll hop over to Lewis, who currently has his mic muted. It's off now. What's up, Lewis?
Hey,
How's it going? Just trying to time it right. Aubrey, big fan. One of my favorite moments, seeing you. I believe it was the Thanksgiving show, and you had so many people cheering for you before the main event. Yes, Chicago. And to the point where there was this guy with a sign with the "I want to go bananas for Aubrey."
Oh my
I'm not
God!
sure if you
Yeah,
remember
banana
that
guy.
moment. Yes, I wasn't that guy, but I wish I was. But I think one of the questions I had is like, obviously you don't like proceed like, oh, like I wouldn't think making that much of a mark or have this many fans. Was there something else you found surprising, like with going with AEW or meeting certain people? I know you getting the chance to meet so many people now. So what's one surprising thing that you will not thought you got the opportunity to do in your position?
Well, I think the most surprising thing for me in general is just kind of what the culture at AEW is like. Like we're all there at the first Double or Nothing and there at the first TV. And when you're starting a new company, you're not quite sure what it's going to be like. And is it going to be cool? Is it going to be laid back? Is it going to be, you know, like mega? Are we going to all have to be like Cody and show up in suits? Like, what am I expecting here? Like how much? And like from a wrestler perspective, it's like, how much creative freedom am I going to have? Like, am I going to be able to write my own promos? Am I going to be able to pitch my own storylines? Like all of those things. And I think that was honestly the most surprising thing, was seeing it turn into the thing that they said it was going to. Like I show up to work just like this. I'm treated as an equal to everyone else on the roster. The wrestlers can pitch whatever storylines they want. They can say whatever they want on the microphone, but you know, within reason. We're TV 14. You can't go dropping F-bombs on TNT. They don't like that. But like I describe it as like, it feels a lot like an indie company, but with a lot of money and high production value. Okay. And I think that was honestly the most surprising thing, was just being able to be a part of that and see that kind of take shape.
That's awesome. Well, applaud you for your continued success. Next time you come to Chicago, definitely, hopefully I'll have a sign for you, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for doing
Hell
this.
yeah, man. Chicago's one of my favorite cities.
Have a great night.
Lewis. We got a few more here, Aubrey. We're going to go over to Aaron.
Oh, shit.
Hi, Aaron.
Hello. Okay, first of all, can we talk about the Instagram page that posted the bikini shot of you and was like, oh, in her zebra striped bikini? I was like, it's a wrestling Instagram. Do you know what this woman does? Like, come the fuck on.
It's like, I'm doing this totally in gimmick. Like,
well, Well,
So that was
I've
actually
seen-
the joke when Brandy was like, "Hey, who would be interested in doing a beach shoot?" I'm like, "Do we have to do this in gimmick?" And she's like, "Well, if you want." I'm like, "Challenge accepted." And
yeah, I
like
was like, have you
Dasha,
seen a zebra?
yeah,
Oh.
Dasha had bought me this like really cute bikini that ended up not arriving in time. So the one that I got was like a last minute purchase, and I'm really happy it arrived when it did. But yeah, I'm like, whenever has a referee done a bikini shoot for a major wrestling company? Like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna kind of like ride this wave all the way. So I'm definitely gonna get a matching bathing suit.
Yeah, and then a wrestling Instagram of all people is like, it's a zebra. Not a zebra, bro. I'm pretty new to AEW, and when I first saw you, I said, "Who's this girl ref?" And my friends were like, that's like female red shoes." So I was like, "Oh."
Yeah, there was a joke online and Twitter for a while that my nickname was Pink Shoes.
Oh, I like that. So I'm the resident has to ask the weird non-wrestling question. Who is the smelliest wrestler on the AEW roster?
Ooh, actually, I'm not going to name names because I don't want to get heat, but I will admit that I get incredibly smelly at the end of the day. Mostly because we're in Florida and I'm wearing pants and a shirt, and then on top of that, underneath my pants, I wear shin guards, knee pads, high ankle socks because I can't have my ankles displayed on TV, plus tennis shoes. So I'm like fully dressed head to toe in multiple layers in 100-degree heat in Florida. So I'm going to say the answer to your question is me.
Good answer. Thanks for doing this. This is fun.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you, Aaron.
We will hop over to Danny.
Yo!
Look at the hair, Danny.
Hey, look at that
Aubrey,
hair.
what's going on? This is
Look at
Zeus.
that
Zeus is a
dog.
big fan.
Hey, Zeus.
He's a big old fan.
Yeah.
I got two questions for you.
Sure.
The first being, it's just kind of a general statement, if you will, on the women's division. Future plans, how you think things are going, et cetera, et cetera. And two, we got our Twitch page launching this week. I know you play some video games, but please come back and play some video games with us.
So the Twitch one first. My schedule is very, very full. Even though we're not taping this week, I've got a lot going on. So I don't know if I can commit here. Shoot me an email. Maybe we can talk about it.
Of course.
Answering the first one about the women's division, I think we've made incredible strides in the last year. Like, Britt Baker is my favorite example to use because when she first started, she's one, improved as a wrestler greatly, and two, she was a babyface, and now she's one of the strongest heels we have in the company. And she's getting lots of promo time on television, which is historically not something that women get in wrestling in general. So that's really, like, that alone is a very good metric to see, like, what we're doing and how often we're showing the women. I think Nyla and Sheeta's match at Double or Nothing was huge, like probably one of my favorite women's matches I've seen in a long time. And one of the best matches of that night. It's been really good seeing how much of a focus we're still putting on women, especially with like the tag team tournament right now. Especially considering that probably two of our top wrestlers in the division are currently hurt. So like Britt's out with a broken leg, and then Statlander's out with a torn ACL that she just had surgery on. So she's going to be out at least 6 months, potentially more. So for both of those women to be out and for us to still be doing what we can to push women and give women opportunities to try and improve in the ring, improve on the mic, and get that ability, I think it's really, really great. And I feel super supported by everything that AEW is doing.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Maybe one more. Are we going to see Awesome Kong again? Can you comment on that?
I don't know. I know she left to do Glow season 4, and I don't know what the status of filming on that is because of the pandemic. So
thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Danny. We will hop over to Michigan and say hi to Genghis.
Hey, Genghis.
Hi, guys. Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good here. I got a couple questions that I'm trying to think of while I was sitting here. Was that one is I know you have input on the video game that everybody is dying for to have. Do you know if it's like completed yet, or is like 70% or 50% like that?
As I said at the beginning of this, I am not answering any.
I know you can't answer. I missed it. I was outside, I couldn't grasp. But I know it was like, is that it's going to be worth the wait? That's all you can say. That's good.
I can't answer any video game questions. I'm just gonna. That's my default line.
All right, okay, all right. I just heard over this since last night that there's somehow that some former NXT person who was there at the tapings has put out the spoilers. I've been avoiding all this stuff because I don't want to know. I'll just wait until Saturday and then watch the show.
Saturday night. Good job. Yeah,
yes.
it's unfortunate.
On
like
TNT.
I don't. There you go. I don't know who's doing the spoilers. I can't comment on one way or another because I see them, but it's incredibly sad. Like I personally, as a wrestling fan, I like the surprise and the delight that comes with seeing how things unfold, and I like seeing stories progress, especially after I'm so invested in them. So I get really sad anytime I see spoilers, and I wish that fewer fans read them because I feel like it definitely negatively impacts your perception of the product as you're watching it. Like if you know how something ends, if you know how a movie ends before you go watch the movie, it's going to change your viewing experience, right? So I just wish more fans didn't read into it. I don't know who's doing it. I hope they stop. And yeah, if you're one of those people that watches spoilers or read spoilers, stop it because it'll make your viewing experience a lot better.
Yeah, your thing's cutting out.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit.
That's true. It does. Oh, sorry. My signal, my Wi-Fi messed up. But I know it just. I grew up in the time age where it was the WWE style there, where we just had to watch every weekend, every day to watch to see what happens. And I kind of like to have the way this. Go back to that spot there where like no spoilers, none of that internet stuff. I already see the rumors or just me guessing with my buddy Jacob up here. We guess a lot like what may happen in shows. And sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong.
Predictions are
but
totally
a whole lot
fine,
of fun.
Right? Like we all talk, like even backstage, because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't even find out the matches I'm reffing until like the night before, sometimes the day of. But we can all make predictions. Like that's the excitement about a product that you're invested in, right? Is wondering where it's going to go.
Yeah.
Thanks,
and my last question is this.
Oh, never mind. Sorry. Go on.
Oh, my last one. Okay, last one. One is this: Xbox or PlayStation 4?
I'm a big PlayStation mark. I never really got into any of the like major Xbox exclusives. Like I played the original Halo back when they had like the actual hubs that you had to connect and you had to have 4 boxes and 4 TVs and all that, 16 players. I was back like an Xbox mark back then, but more recently than not, I've been playing a lot of PlayStation. Though Nintendo is my number one for all time. That will be until the day I die. If I had to pick one console, it'd always be a Nintendo console.
All right.
Thanks. We have 3 more for you. We're going to hop over to Doug.
Doug!
Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
Hey!
I got a quick question for you. I just want to know if you can talk a little about kind of what your pre-match preparation is like as a ref.
Ooh.
As far as like, talking to backstage, or if you talk to, how much talk do you actually have with the wrestlers before the match?
Sweet. So the question is, what's my pre-match sort of rituals and process? Cool. I'll talk a little bit about like pre-show and pre-match because they're all kind of related. And some shows I have 6 matches, some shows I have 2, like it's completely different. Show day, I wake up and I do yoga. I find it's a good way to get my body loose, and yoga helps with injury prevention, especially because I'm moving very quickly and reactionary in the ring. When I get to the arena, the women's roster has practice with Dustin, so we end up doing that. I end up helping out with drills and whatnot. And then once that's done, I check in to see if the wrestlers I'm working with that day have arrived yet. If they have, I'll just chit chat and say, hey, I'm your ref for the day. When you guys have chatted about stuff, come find me. I'll go get my makeup done. I'll go get dressed. If I need to be involved with any sort of pre-tapes or whatever, I'll knock those out. And then assuming like it's Florida time and Dynamite goes live at 8, around 5 o'clock, I start tracking down the wrestlers and actually seeing if they have information figured out. We have a coach assigned to every match, so I'll talk to the coach and see if there's anything in particular that we need to know, like post-match, pre-match, any particular story elements that need to be communicated in a specific way. And then I'll talk to the wrestlers again as we get closer to the show, just in case anything is sort of changed or as details have been finalized, if there's any spots I have, if there's anything crucial or whatever. And then at 6:30, we have a meeting with Tony Khan and the rest of the ref team to talk about details of matches, just to make sure that the product still has a lot of variety. And I mean, we don't want eye pokes in every single match, so we talk about stuff like that. And then Dynamite starts, and it moves real fast. Like the day is long, but then like the moment that Dynamite is on TV feels like 3 seconds. But yeah, that's kind of how like pre-match and pre-show work. It's kind of the same every time, but the wrestlers I work with are always different, and some of them figure stuff out real fast. Some of them figure out stuff at the last minute. So it's fun. I'm kind of working based on their schedule.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. And look forward to Dynamite on Saturday.
Saturday. That's right.
Right.
Thanks, Doug.
Guys.
Thank you.
We will hop over to, I don't want to mess this up. Is it Yadi?
Yeah, close enough.
Yes.
Yay. Hello.
Hi, Aubrey.
Hello. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very weird right now. So.
We're all weird.
My question is, what kind of lipstick do you use, and what do you recommend? I'm not a makeup freak, but that's probably a common question.
I actually get this question a lot. If I'm doing my own makeup, I typically wear. So I'm really cheap, but I also can't buy like the worst products because otherwise they'll mess with my skin. So I try and like balance like budget with quality a little bit. And there's some things like eyeshadow I'll tend to like get a little cheaper with. Foundation I'll spend a little bit more money on. But lipstick's kind of one of those ones in the middle. If it's a regular show, I'll typically wear Sephora makes like a lip color lip stain that's I prefer matte over like a glossy. My hair doesn't stick into it, and I don't like the shine, how it looks on the lights.
Right.
And I'll do something that's kind of more like right. Yeah, we all know that. Like you're not watching the wrestling, bro.
Right, exactly. Someone's focusing.
Yeah, I'll get something that kind of matches like my normal lip color, or something kind of in a more earth tone, mauve. I stay away from bright pinks. I stay away from like purples, and kind of stay like within that range.
Right.
And then on like matches that are really important to me personally, I'll end up wearing the red, which for me, there's a brand called Color Pop. And I don't know the specific color, but it was a gift to me from one of the commentators at my home promotion. She gave it to me when I think it was the Full Gear pay-per-view. She's like, "Hey, I got you a new red lipstick." So I've been wearing that one every time I wear. Every time I wear red, it's that one.
Nice. It happens to be my favorite color, so.
Yay! Awesome.
So I was like, okay. I mean, it's my favorite ref and my favorite color, so.
Boom! I appreciate that.
No problem.
Thanks, Yadi.
Thank you. Love you guys.
And the last one of the night, we will go over to Spencer.
Spencer!
Hey, what's up, Aubrey?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Hey, thank you again for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Of course. I'm having a blast.
All right, awesome. That's great to hear. I got 2 questions to finish it out. I love the interaction you have like with Jericho and some of the other wrestlers in the ring. You have personality, and that's something we usually don't see with referees. It's better to be seen and not heard. One, what are your kind of comments? How do you feel about that? And then 2, if you were ever to like mix it up with anyone, like you have kind of gotten Jericho's face before, male or female, anybody on the roster, who would you like to like kind of mix it up in the ring with?
So first question is, how do I feel about kind of being a personality and sort of being more out there as a referee?
Right.
So it's interesting because this is something that All Elite Wrestling specifically wanted. Like all of the referees on our roster, me, Bryce, Knox, and Turner, the like 4 full-time referees, all worked indies for a very, very long time. And indie refs are, you get an assortment. Sometimes you get guys with gimmicks. Sometimes you get guys that are super serious. Turns out my gimmick is to be super serious, so it works out that way. But we all had like our own distinct personalities. So when we were hired, we were told, just be the thing that got you hired. It's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, we actually count at different speeds. A lot of people don't recognize that, but like Knox counts a lot faster than I do. Which I like because it feels more like an actual fight that way, because every rep is going to have a little bit different. So if you're a wrestler working with a ref that counts faster, that's going to actually change how you approach wrestling a little bit. So I like that aspect of it quite a bit. I think the most difficult aspect of it is like the fact I'm doing a meet and greet is kind of crazy, because how often do referees do meet and greets, right? Like it's not very common in wrestling. So it's kind of like a balance between putting myself out there enough, but also being respectful and understanding that at the end of the day, the ref's role is to tell the story of the wrestlers. Like, it's not about me, it's about what the boys are putting out there for the fans. And when I say boys, I mean like the wrestlers. Sorry, lingo. It was like, I don't want to be like non-inclusive. It's like, when the wrestlers are talking about what it is that their story is, like, I'm there to help them. It's not about like what my spots are or what I want to get out of it. Like, it's not about me at all. And ultimately, it's like that whole seen but not heard thing. It's like the thing, like, I get a lot of heat online for it because like, oh, she's trying to put herself over because she's doing the spot. It's like, I'm literally doing what the wrestlers are telling me to do. Like, anytime Jericho's like, hey, take this bat from me. Like, he's literally telling me, take the bat from me. Like, I am not going, hey, Jericho, I'm going to take that bat from you. Like, that's not how it works. I'm literally doing my job. So it's interesting. And I like those little opportunities to like put forward who I am. But it's one of those things where it's like, those happen when you work with a wrestler who's telling a story where it works, but also where the wrestler trusts you enough that you're going to be able to pull it off. Like, Sean Spears and I have a lot of that stuff too. And he was originally trying to get the glove gimmick over on Dark. I was helping him do that quite a bit. So now that it's kind of established, he's been working with other refs and whatnot. And then what was your second question?
Second question is just kind of like, you kind of have them mix it up with Jericho sometimes in the ring. Who would be someone you would like to kind of like mix up, male or female, on the roster?
So it's interesting because I actually don't want to like have that response with anyone else. Like, that's something that I particularly save for Jericho. And I think that's unique to our dynamic and our chemistry that we have. So like, for instance, the only other person I have like something with is Lance Archer, where he's the guy that everyone's afraid of. So even though I've got this whole like, I'm fearless, I won't step down persona, like, everyone has to be afraid of him because everybody's going to die. So like, and that's part of what the ref thing is. Like, his story is everybody dies, but my character is this. So how can the two of us work together that he tells his story without sacrificing who I've been established as? So it's kind of like not up to me to pick. So I've never actually thought about it because it's like, I'll just do whatever the wrestlers want. Like, that's ultimately my job. I don't know. Every time MJF's like, hey, can you kick my leg? I'm like, sure. I like that.
I got you. Well, hey, thank you for answering those questions. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it. Make sure everyone, if you're watching this, tune in. AEW Dynamite Saturday night, TNT.
Yes, we also have a couple other dates that are swapping around because of the NBA season. So definitely keep tabs on your cable schedule, your cable providers. Follow us on social media because we'll be posting the schedule changes and all that. But yeah, the next month's going to be a little weird with all the NBA. But the fact is, we're still on TV, so that's super awesome. And big thanks to TNT for doing that.
Thank you, Spencer.
See ya.
Thanks, Spencer.
Firstly, Aubrey, thank you very much for doing this.
This was so much fun.
And secondly, where can everybody find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ref Aubrey. You can also follow me on Instagram at Ref Aubrey. I'm on Facebook too, though I'm not as active there as I used to be. But yeah, if you tweet at me, I actually try and stay pretty active with like comments and whatnot. So I don't know, maybe it's worth following me. I don't know. I post pictures of tacos and cute animals a lot. So
and as we heard,
that's the kind of content tonight, you want online.
Thank you everybody for tuning in and have a great night.